Fjord is a service design company, and we effectively build and innovate and design services for all kinds of clients, whether they're financial services or they're media companies or health and wellness companies or in the education sector. But we're operating in a lot of different sectors. But right across those, what we see is a common need for organizations who want to build in an omni-channel environment. They want to build services which reach out to their customers, and they need help understanding what it is they want to build, or how it should be presented to the client, or what the mental map is or mental model that the customer is going to understand, right the way through to delivery and beyond that into the CRM piece as well. So we design and develop all of that. And my role is Chief Client Officer. Mobile banking, it's not so much that mobile banking is changing, though it is. It's that mobile is changing all of banking. And I think that one of the things that's happening is that banks all over the world are seeing the most astonishing customer pickup in their usage of mobile. So, for example, one client of ours, BBVA in Spain, they did as many transactions on mobile in the first month of this year as they did in the entirety of 2012. We had Guarantee Bank on stage today, and over 30% of their transactions, digital transactions, are now happening on mobile. And they're seeing mobile emerge as their fastest growing channel to market, beyond anything they've seen before. And we're seeing this replicated in a lot of different markets as well, the US and the UK too. So first of all, what banks are seeing is that mobile is an extraordinary channel to market, which customers want. And now what they're seeing is it's also giving them an opportunity to innovate. And a lot of what we were talking about this morning was the waves of innovation that are coming through digital and really being spearheaded by mobile. And we heard that from Amex, we heard it from Wells Fargo, and most notably we heard it from Guarantee Bank in Turkey, who have just released an app called iGuarantee, which is phenomenal. I think there are, at the last count, something like 24 separate pieces of what I would call global innovation just contained in this one app. So with this product, what you can do is you can go to an ATM without your wallet, just with your phone. You go in, you press the QR code button on the ATM, and the ATM brings up a QR code. You take a photograph of the QR code, you tell the ATM how much money you want, the money comes out. It's as simple as that. You can pay in shops and in bars and restaurants using QR codes as well. If you go to somewhere where there's a guarantee point of sale and they have a lot of them, then you just put your phone over it, take a photograph of the QR code, you can pay directly. The other thing they've done is they've used voice. So at the beginning of this year, we were speculating that you would see a lot more voice beginning to break surface this year in digital, and we would see a lot more use of voice. And intriguingly, within 2 weeks, we were talking to Guarantee, and they said, look, we want you to look at voice within iGuarantee because we think it's going to be very important this year. You can, from the surface level of the phone, when you get to the app and you open it, you don't even have to log in because it has voice recognition. So that's your identity. It allows you to say, pay Tony, pay him £50. It'll go and find Tony. And by the way, it's deeply integrated into Facebook. So if your friend is on Facebook and you're connected to him, it'll go and find him. And you can pay literally using your voice straight through the app, and that'll flow through. And this is, again, another aspect of innovation, but then there's very deep social integration. So integration in that case into Facebook, but also into Foursquare and Twitter. It's getting very, very close to what we see as the future. Our belief is that we've seen really 3 great waves, or so far we've seen 2 great waves of digitalization. The first was the internet. The second was mobile, and I don't think anybody doubts we're right in the middle of that now. We're certainly not at the end game. There's still a lot of innovation ahead of us in mobile. But beyond that, we see what we call the era of living services. And living services are going to be about many more connected devices. It's going to be about a stronger emphasis on UI. And it's going to be about services that get much closer to the user and the consumer and do so in real time. So particularly because the use of data is going to mean that consumers are going to expect services to adapt around them based on their context, based on the data that they know that the service knows about them, based on other data out there in the real world. People are actually going to begin to expect services to change in real time. And the things that we're typically used to using now, increasingly are going to seem very static, very over there, not close to us. And that era of living services, yes, iGuarantee is in some ways a real forerunner for that. And you can actually see it in little details in the interface, where, for example, there are live data feeds through to each of the apps which appear as tiles. And there are live data feeds right through into those tiles, telling you things like what your financial status is. offering you offers wherever you go based on location, and even doing things like offering you special offers on loans and savings on a real-time and limited time basis as well. I've not seen that from a bank before, and it makes the bank, again, it's quite hard to describe until you see it and play with it, but it makes the bank literally come alive in front of you. It really does begin to feel like a living service. And that, we think, is the future, not just for financial services, but actually all services.